Winter meetings are right around the corner, and these are three moves that the Blue Jays must make to have a successful offseason. So we'll break that down and much more on this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside co-host Nick Gosse. We got a lot to get into today, but first I want to thank you all for the support that we've been getting. It's been unreal.
Unreal. Quick reminder, 82.4% of you guys who are watching are not subscribed. So if you enjoy the daily Jays content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It means the world and helps us towards our goal of 4K and 5K before Christmas. But let's get right into the video. We have three major moves that we think the Jays need to make in order to become World Series contenders. After back-to-back seasons of, I would say, disappointment. Let's get into the first one here, which is trade one of our catchers. Now, this has kind of been the main topic of conversation the past, ever since the season ended. And an article was posted by The Athletic, and it was basically a proposed trade for Danny Jansen featuring Ian Happ and Adbert Alzolay for Danny Jansen. And what are your initial thoughts on that, Peter? Actually, before I get into the verdict by the reporter there.
First off, that's a very tough name. That's going to be a tongue twister if the Jays do manage to get him. But by all accounts, he seems to have electric stuff, and he's been pretty good for the Cubs. He's 27 years old, solid starter, came out of the bullpen last year, so he could probably help us out quite a bit. But the big piece here is Ian Happ, and my first glance, this looks like a little bit of an overpay for the Cubs. I don't know if they'll do it, but personally for me, I would do Happ for Jansen straight up.
Yeah, that's I kind of agree with you. If you're a Cubs fan watching the video, let us know what you think about it. I'm sure there might be maybe some angered ones, but yeah, the verdict by Jim Bowden, I kind of accidentally clicked the screenshot there earlier, but I would not make this trade if I were the Cubs, but if I were the Blue Jays, I would call a press conference to announce the deal if we receive this offer. Happ's versatility and switch hitting ability combined with his 342 on base percentage and 4.4 BWAR last season makes it a no-brainer for Toronto. They could play him at second base, they could play him in the outfield, and then Alzolay, if healthy, can provide swing and miss innings at the bullpen. But if I'm the Cubs, I'm pursuing Moreno because I think they need to be thinking longer term than Jansen. Completely agree. If it's Jansen, you run away with it, and like you said, you announce it. If it's Moreno, it's honestly still an interesting question to ask. You would probably need a bit more from the Cubs, but honestly, a Moreno for a package like this would still make a bit of sense. Happ is a phenomenal player, though I don't know if they'd want to trade Moreno for Happ, but I don't know. It's definitely lopsided.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Would you do Kirk in this deal?
Yeah, I would definitely do Kirk.
I've been a huge advocate on keeping Alejandro Kirk, and I love him, fan favorite, one of my favorite players on the Blue Jays, but I'm doing this deal in a heartbeat. Ian Happ, like they said, he can play left field, center field. He can play second base. He's a switch hitter. He checks all the boxes for the Toronto Blue Jays. He could even fill in at third base if Matt Chapman has to miss a game. So you can't really find that versatility anywhere else. He won a Gold Glove last year. The guy can just do it all. He's so athletic. He fits the mold of what the Blue Jays are trying to do right now. And Adbert Alzolay, I'll say it again, Alzolay. This guy can really help out our bullpen. He's got electric stuff, and I think the Cubs honestly should look to trade Ian Happ. Their top three prospects are all outfielders, so that's something to look forward to. Their outfield is really sculpted for the next 6 to 10 years if all those prospects pan out. And Ian Happ kind of gets lost in the shuffle. This is a rebuilding team that is looking to kind of groom their prospects and really make sure that they hone in their craft. And Ian Happ is a guy that's going to hit free agency soon and doesn't really fit what they're doing. And they're also going to lose Wilson Contreras in free agency as well, by all accounts. So that's they need a catcher. They need a young catcher to build around those talented outfielders that they have in their prospect pool.
Yeah, Kirk, that's a very good question. Obviously, if it's Danny Jansen, we're, of course, perfectly fine if he goes in this trade because kind of a no-brainer. We need to get rid of a catcher anyway. But if they make the call for Kirk, I think the Cubs would probably maybe accept it, but the Jays might want another prospect in that, or maybe a major league ready player from their bullpen. It would be a bit of a closer deal, but I think it would make more sense. And very interesting, and we'll continue to keep our eye on the catcher situation. But let's get into this second major move that the Jays need to make, which is, of course, become a deeper pitching staff. Now, we've talked about this a fair bit on the channel, not as much as the catcher situation, but become a deeper pitching staff. And there's a few, moves that we think we can make. I'll pop up. This is the stat cast of the first player that we think that the Jays should go for, and that's Andrew Chafin. Peter, I'll let you elaborate on him a bit more, but this is Andrew Chafin of the Tigers.
Yeah, well, I'll just kind of circle back a little bit to our first topic that we spoke about there. Trading one of our catchers, this could also address our pitching depth. So you don't have to trade a catcher for a position player. It's not written in the rules anywhere. So you can easily trade either Kirk, Moreno, or Jansen for a quality starting pitcher or a couple of quality relievers. Although I wouldn't include Moreno in a deal for a reliever. Don't run away with that statement over there. But yeah, you can definitely address your pitching needs with your catching depth as well. But Andrew Chafin, he doesn't throw very hard, but the Jays need another lefty in their bullpen. They can't go through an entire 162 game season and an entire postseason run with just Tim Meza and Yusei Kikuchi in the bullpen. It won't work. Although I still think Yusei Kikuchi might get a few starts here and there, but no, you need another lefty in there. Andrew Chafin was very good last year. He's 31 years old, and relievers tend to be late bloomers, and I really like his stuff. I like his breaking ball. I like his curveball. It's just solid. He checks all the boxes. He's a lefty, and when you talk about getting a deeper pitching staff, that's what it's all about. Being more versatile and being able to have multiple game plans thrown at your opponents.
Yeah, I love this move if we were able to get Chafin. I kind of popped it up earlier, but this is his baseball savant page. He doesn't throw the fastest. He's not a flamethrower. I know a lot of you guys out there want the Jays to require flamethrowers, and I do as well. But obviously, he throws 92 with the fastball, 83 with the slider, and if you look at his page, it is phenomenal. I was actually a bit shocked. I didn't know it was this good. He's above average to borderline elite in almost every category besides velocity and, of course, barrel percentage and fastball spin. And he gets the chase, 89% chase rate. He doesn't get hit very hard at all, and just seems like an excellent player to have in any team's bullpen, and especially ours where we need a lefty. Obviously, you have Tim Meza, and Kikuchi might, he could have a bounce back year. It's very possible, but that might be from the starter. Who knows? But Chafin would be phenomenal, and I don't know.
And he strikes guys out.
Yeah,
he strikes guys out. I mean, what else can you want in the bullpen? Yes, you'd love a guy that throws 100 plus, but that doesn't really come around very often from the left-hand side. So you can't really get picky in that aspect. You need a lefty that strikes guys out, keeps the ball in the ballpark. That's what he does.
Yeah, and he's been very good at it. And hopefully, maybe the Jays can make a push for him. Another name, maybe Gregory Soto. Do you have any quick thoughts on Gregory Soto? I'll just throw him in there. May as well.
I know how you feel about him. I love him too. He tends to walk the ballpark a little bit, but I mean, if he can really get that control down, and he's electric. He's electric out there on that mound, and he was one of the Tigers' best relievers in a bullpen that was super stacked. So if you can go and pry him away from Detroit, that'd be awesome. But nothing wrong with Chafin. He's a free agent. You could probably get him for cheap, and it doesn't really derail your offseason plans.
Yeah, and I think to get him, you'd probably need to trade one of your catchers. I think that's kind of what it comes down to here. But we have one more pitcher before I move into our third topic, and that is Brandon Woodruff. Now, of course, to get Brandon Woodruff, it would take a lot. It would probably, once again, take one of our catchers, almost certainly a Moreno, along with some other stuff. And what are your thoughts on the potential of getting Brandon Woodruff? I've seen a few comments about it, and I've also, I've seen some rumors and speculation on Twitter about it as well.
Well, this is another thing that the Jays don't really have much of, and it's a strikeout pitcher. Besides Kevin Gausman, we don't have like a true elite guy that's gonna strike you out. Alek Manoah is great. He's our ace. He's gonna be our ace for the next 10 years, hopefully, if the Jays can lock him down. But he's not really a strikeout guy. He's got good stuff, but he doesn't throw exceptionally hard. Brandon Woodruff, this guy can pump it, man. He can hit 100, and he can hit 100 for the entire length of a game, and he's got strikeout stuff. He's still got 2 years of control before he hits free agency. So yeah, you're probably going to have to give up quite the haul for Brandon Woodruff, but I'm willing. I don't know if I'm willing to go Moreno level here, but definitely a starting point, because Brandon Woodruff has been an elite starter for the past couple of years, and it really checks another box that the Blue Jays need.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be Kirk. It could be Moreno. Who knows? It would be a hefty package either way. Probably also take, depending who we give up, take a couple prospects. But I'll pop up Woodruff's StatCast here, and it's also very good. 87th percentile for fastball velocity, great whiff percentage, And if you look on the left there, averages 96 with his fastball, can obviously peak higher. 86 with his changeup, 84 with the curve, and 88 with the slider. He's a hard thrower. He's very good in everything. He's been good his whole career, and he would just be a phenomenal piece to add to our rotation. And it would, if we get Woodruff, it would solidify our rotation fully. Obviously, maybe get another fifth starter if we want to go all out. But Woodruff he'd be a dream at this point, I think.
Yeah, I have another guy that we don't really have any graphics for, but it's Jose Quintana. He's 34 years old. He had a great year last year, a 2.95 ERA. Got traded to the Cardinals mid-season from the Pirates, and he's just a solid guy, left-handed pitcher, so checks another box for the Blue Jays. Look, right now what we're doing in this video, we might be leaving some guys out, but we're trying to check all the boxes that the Jays need to become a World Series contender in our eyes. So let us know in the comments as well if you want to see the Jays go after certain guys, because we'll definitely be looking into that. But let's move into the next topic here.
Yep, get into the third one and final, which is, of course, acquire lefty bats, specifically the outfield. And like we've discussed throughout this video, like you said, a lot of these are going to require moving a catcher. So obviously, if you trade one of your catchers for a pitcher, you won't be able to get a lefty bat. But mixing of a free agency and trades is what we're kind of aiming for here. And I'll let you take it over. What are your main targets? Of course, we have the one main target which we'll focus on, but there's a couple others as well we'll get into.
Yeah, the main guy is obviously Brandon Nimmo. That's it's the prized possession on the free agent market right now. He's the star outfielder, the guy that can play all three outfield positions. And one of my main goals in this offseason is to have George Springer start in right field once opening day comes around. And getting Brandon Nimmo or a guy like Cody Bellinger will really help with that. But obviously Nimmo is the key guy that you're going for, the guy that's been really rumored around the Blue Jays, and I think they have a real shot to get him.
Yeah, rumors have been circulating. We've made a couple videos about this. Nimmo is the guy that, depending on the price, of course, that we want. Hopefully, he doesn't go up into the 6 years, 150 plus or 140 plus, but who knows? It's been slow, and the reason we're making the video now is because we expect news to pick up once the winter meetings start over the next week or two. I'll pop up Nimmo's Savant here. I know you guys may or may not have seen it already. He's unbelievable. Great defender, excellent base runner, an underrated base runner at that. Obviously, phenomenal hitting the ball. There's not much he can't do. He's basically a five-tool player, would take over center field. Basically an absolute perfect fit for the Blue Jays. The question is, will they pay up, and does Nimmo want to come to the Blue Jays? That's the question that needs to everyone's waiting for.
Does he stay healthy?
And healthy.
And does he stay healthy? That's the big asterisk when you're signing any big free agent. Will they hold up, and will they perform to the dollar sign that you signed them for? That's the big question. I mean, you're going to have to pay him the same amount that the Blue Jays paid George Springer. Is it worth it right now? It's hard to say because he's just coming off a career year, and I've been very vocal in past videos about paying guys after one good season, but he's had a few good years. Just had a bit of a tough run with injury history, a few unlucky injuries as well. So hopefully he's still fresh. He's only 29 years old, and he's just entering his prime. So this would be the prime get for the Toronto Blue Jays. And there are a couple of other names out there, but I think that pretty much does it for this video right here.
Yeah, Nimmo's the main name. And of course we have Bellinger and Benintendi, but I think the main goal for everyone here is Nimmo. And then I guess if that falls through, Bellinger might be the next one up. But we'll keep you guys up to date with all that. We'll have videos coming out every single day. Lots more. We expect a lot of news coming up soon. So hopefully you guys are ready for that. And thank you guys for watching Sportsman Unbelievable. We'll see you in tomorrow's video.